Hello, 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 hello. Welcome everyone for another episode of Market Leader Live. It's your host with the most, your main man, Darren M. Palmer. Excited to be with you one more time where you know what we do on this show. We talk about market leader content, market leader things that those who are making the life for themselves and others around them, what they do that's different than others. We know that a general practitioner, not knocking that, but they're not looked at as a level. They're not as in demand as those who are experts at what they do. And speaking of experts today, for those who are tuned in and checking this out, it might be a re-recording of this. I had the honor and the privilege to be able to see something manifest in my life that God brought to happen for me. I remember starting off in business or whatnot, and before I was even in business, I was listening, reading, listening to podcasts, reading the whole nine, and ran across this guy called Mark Victor Hansen or whatnot. I really love this mindset. I love that he made it possible. He made it believable that if you had a dream, it didn't matter where you came from. It didn't matter what your limitations were. But if you had the audacity to think outside the box, if you were willing to focus on certain things, that you could bring it into existence. And not only that, it was the work ethic that went along with it as well, by taking action. So I had heard of the kind of woo-woo, the secret, the whole nine, and not knocking none of that, because I, looked at that, read different books or whatnot, but it was the work ethic and also putting the work for us, what you was thinking on, but also taking massive action. And then also seeing how, it could come back around for you for as opening up doors and opportunities. So I said all that to say this: wow, dream come true. Wanted to share it with my Market Leader Live family. Was able to wrap up a wonderful interview with Mark Victor Hansen today. And this is why I'm telling you about market leaders. All the things that you've been hearing me share on these episodes when I'm talking about go the extra mile. I think last week's episode, yesterday's episode, I was sharing about the importance of supporting, sharing the whole nine. Now, here I am with the opportunity to speak with Mark Victor Hansen. He had an interview with me a little bit later this evening, probably right about right now for him. He's doing an interview with another billionaire friend of his or whatnot, talking about the things he was able to accomplish. But most importantly, he's on a goal of making so many millionaires himself or whatnot, to be able to add value to people or help people with charity, whatever it may be. So you might say, Darren, what are we talking about there? He got a new book called Ask. And I want to talk to you about that. This is something that I'm seeing with market leaders. And this is what I learned from Mark Victor Hansen today, some of the notes that I was able to take. But one of the things that he brought up was asking. A lot of us, we're not even asking at all for what we want in life at all. We're not even getting close. A lot of us feel like it's taboo to even think. We think that it's just totally selfish for us to want anything in life. Like, some people, if they bring up something that they want, it's kind of like they got to preface it with, I don't really have to have nothing. I really don't really want nothing. As long as everybody else is taken care of, I don't have to have anything. Well, okay, that's all right. But I want you to realize that that's a limited belief or thought, that it's okay. You're not a horrible person. It's okay. Just like other people want something. Not saying that it's basically the law of abundance. Just because you have something doesn't mean that somebody else is going to go lacking for something because you have something. Let me say that again. Just because you have something doesn't mean that somebody else will go lacking because you have something. Keep that in mind. And I want some of you to understand that it's okay for you to have something. And I'm not just talking about monetarily, but I also, so see, there I go. Let me watch with my limited belief. You hear how I went right into, I don't want to seem salesy or just about money. All that. That's a limited belief. Why do I have to preface that it's not about money? If it is about money, let it be about money. If it is about feeding people, let it be a feeding people. But why can't I just say, okay, you know what? I might want some more money. In our society, we just made that horrible for the most part. Oh my God, I gotta feed starving children in Somalia first and help with a village or whatnot in South America before I can say anything about that I need to make some more money or whatnot, or did I got somewhere that I have somewhere that I want to travel, or if you do want to do mission work. But if the thing is that you're not going to be able to do the things that you want to do without increasing, whether it's you having control of your time, whether it's having control to be able to pour into people the way that you desire. If you feel like something is not being taken care of the way that you want it, but you have to ask. Let's get back to the topic. But you have to ask. So I share those things about this. Now, one of the books that I've read, I got this right here, The 1 Minute Millionaire by Mark Victor Hansen and Robert G. Allen, The Enlightened Way to Wealth. That was just one book, but the real one was Conversations with Millionaires. It had him, Jim Rohn. It had Robert G. Allen. It had my guy, Famous Amos was he's in that book too as well. I mean, it's just some brilliant people. And so when I talked to Mark today, it was just with all the success that he's been able to accomplish. For those who are not familiar with Mark Victor Hansen, he was a co-author of Chicken Soup for the Soul. I always want to throw the chicken noodle in there. I guess it's a Texas thing. But at the same time, he was the co-author of that, but also with Jack Canfield. But it was just amazing the things that he was willing to ask for. He even shared with me one thing when we talk about ask. He shared about a situation where the book was out and they wanted to continue to hit their targets. So he reached out to Jack Canfield. Him and Jack is talking, and he's sharing about, it was during the time, now this is not about how you feel about this or what side you were on, but it was during the O.J. Simpson case. So he shared that he's on the phone with O.J. He was like, hey, the judge at that time, I think it was Ito. I think it was Judge Ito or something like that. But he said, you know what, why don't I reach out to Judge Ito and see if I can send him a book for free of, Chicken Soup for the Soul, whatnot, book form. And then I wrote him a little note. He wrote him a note and said, well, if this is good to you or whatnot, I know that you all, basically what we're dealing with quarantining, they didn't have the luxury of being able to look at any news because they didn't want to be able to have the jury swayed by what was going on outside of the court. So they had to make sure that they kept everybody from TV. They couldn't hardly read any newspapers, anything like that. So why not, let them have some material. So when the jury was reading, that's the only thing that they really had access to. So the jury was able to read Chicken Soup for the Soul. And they also, when they was reading that, they started bringing it into the courtroom with them. So why all the attention was in on the OJ case, they was watching the jury, and then it started getting all this organic, just free press because they were going to the stand or whatnot, going to their place or whatnot with the books in their hands, holding the books as they were carrying all their other files and materials like that. So it was just on the news constantly, on the radios, talk radio, whatnot, all this stuff or whatnot, and the sales just soared. So it's just about asking. Now, by the way, I didn't tell you that his other co-author whatnot said he was crazy. He didn't think it was going to ever work. So what's in your mind right now that seems crazy? What are you not asking for right now because it seems crazy? It seems like it's so far out of there. It's so far removed that, that you have just, told yourself, there's no sense in me even trying this. Some of us in personal or professional development call that hairy, audacious goal. What is that thing that you have just put to the back burner? You done made all types of excuses for yourself. Well, it was great back in the day. I got kids now. Well, the most important thing is my grandkids, so I'm not going to look at them doing anything. What are some of the things that you have put on the shelf that you have hid in the closet of your mind? You know that it's something that you're designed to do, but you're not moving forward with it because someone has shared with you that it's crazy. Someone has told you that it'll never work, but you never even took the first step to see what can happen. So when I was talking to Mark Victor Hansen or whatnot, and he was telling me how him and Jack Canfield was coming up with the name for Chicken Soup for the Soul, the book series, how the publisher thought that was crazy. He shared with me how many, I think it was like 144 something no's that he heard. How many of us are quitting and we're missing out on our opportunities? Just think if Mark Victor Hansen and Jack Canfield would have quit because the publisher didn't like the title name. After the book was published, just think if they would have quit when, just think if Mark would have quit because Jack thought the idea wasn't good for him sending a book to the judge during the OJ case. And the record numbers of books that they were able to sell because of the publicity that they got for free, that they didn't even have to pay for. So they sent a book for free, and then they was actually were paid to send more books in because people wanted to keep reading. And then it was a phenomenon. It went viral, so to speak. Before it was YouTube, it went viral during that particular time, all because they chose to think outside the box. And I'm really looking at this from Mark's perspective. How do you act when you're told no, for as the book idea? What are you doing if you're told no, that the marriage is not going to work, that it looks like that it's a dire situation with one of your children? How are you acting if the home that you want, you haven't been able to find financing yet? It seems like it's not going to work for you. What does it look like where it looks like that financially, or it can be spiritually? You keep finding yourself, in a roller coaster where it seems like you up and you're down or whatnot. I'm here to share with you today what I learned from Mark Victor Hansen is the importance of asking. Be willing to ask. Be willing to not only ask, but when you ask, go after your dreams, go after your goals, put something out there. It doesn't matter if you know everything yet. He didn't know everything. He didn't come from money. He didn't come from wealth. He came from a Danish background or whatnot. Dad didn't really have anything. Let's think about it. This guy sold more books. Him and Jack Canfield sold more books than mostly anybody who's ever done it, and didn't even have books in his home when he grew up. So he had a total different profession, and he chose to say, I think I want to go into speaking. And it seems so far out there. And now he's been able to do just like, there for a while, he was doing over 1,000 gigs a year or whatnot. Only person that rivaled with that was Tony Robbins. This is what I learned today through my interview with Mr. Mark Victor Hansen. And this is just a little bit. I mean, I'm just sharing this with you. You all will be able to be notified when we have the release of the full interview or whatnot. But I just wanted to share that with you. For one, that I could attest to the things that he was sharing and the principles, because I've been able to watch it in my own life. Just me being able to have that interview today just shows you that miracles can happen. But if you got to take action. Now, if I wouldn't have moved forward on the materials that I read, if I wouldn't have been open to it, if I would have just shut my mind and said, okay, it's cool, but I'm not the same color as Mark Victor Hansen. If I would have came up, I'm from Texas, I got a Southern drawl, he can get away with it. He has more contacts than I have. If I would have came up with this, now here I am, been able to interview somebody who from afar has been a mentor through his writing, through his content, through his way of thinking, encouraging someone like myself and countless others across the globe to understand that they can do whatever they put their mind to. And also just looking at it as well, here it is with a book that's not even #1 in the US, the same book that I brought up. I think it's like #1 in Vietnam or something like that. This crazy stuff right now. So it might not be on a New York Times bestseller. So when you're thinking global, when you're thinking different, even it might be out of sight, out of mind to us in the West. When you're putting your artifacts out there, when you making, content, or you're creating things that are intellectual properties, IPs or whatnot, or artifacts that is your thoughts or your upbringing, things that you've been able to pick up from, you're able to soar to higher heights and new levels. So I just wanted to share that with you today. Just the power of, if you're asking, you asking the right things. And I would ask that you all go and take a look, get the book. Go to markvictorhansen.com. I have more information about that on the book Ask, or any of the other materials. But I just want you to just see that, and here this guy is. I'm just sharing. Did you hear what I just brought up earlier in the interview? This guy's, right after he got off with me, he was going to have another meeting with a billionaire. Now, he has several billionaire friends. I'm not just acting like it's just one person, but it shows you the level of how humble he is, for him to take time out for me to see the value in taking time out. And I just want to, close with that. Some of you don't get too big for your britches. Always stay humble for us, what you're doing. his outside of the box thinking. That's why I can see him having that type of success. Some of us, we get a couple of views, we get a couple likes on social media, our head get big. This dude is connected with so many people around the globe. You just sharing about, before he passed, when they had a house in Newport, that Kobe Bryant was his neighbor. And how he was saying what people don't talk about is how, I know we know it now, but how he was able to realize he knew that Kobe, because he could hear him, that Kobe would be up 4 a.m, working out and whatnot and working on his skills. And so these are just things that I want for us to be able to pick up on from legends just like Mark Victor Hansen. I'm looking at, he's not too big for his britches. He can talk to a billionaire, and he can talk to a guy like me or whatnot, who's thriving, who's pushing it. Because he was like, Darren remind me a lot of myself, when I was coming up, the whole nine. It's just having that mindset, being willing to say, why not me? And that's what I want you all to think about today. Why not you? Well, others are going down because of the COVID or the pandemic. Why not you? Why can't you be the one? Why can't you be the unicorn? Why can't you be the one that be able to get out of this situation ahead during this current time? Why not you? Why can't you find and learn a new skill set that will allow for you that when the next situation happens, because it will be something else coming back around again. Believe me, it will, that you'll be prepared the next time. Or you can take that opportunity to move forward with whatever you have, instead of allowing for your decisions to be made by your bank account. Sometimes you got to think outside the box, try some new things. Some of the things like they've talked about, chicken soup for the soul, some selling in truck stops, working deals out. He found a way. And like I said, I'm not going to tell all of it. I'm going to let y'all check out all the interview, but it was just amazing. And I just wanted to share with you all, just ask. Just take time this week. Take time this weekend and just blow the dust off that dream. Blow the dust off that book. Blow the dust off that business. Blow the dust off that side hustle, or whatever you have, or that t-shirt, or that ministry, or that idea how you can impact your company or whatnot. Blow the dust off that idea for us, how you're viewing and looking at your marriage. Blow the dust off that relationship with your kids or whatnot. Take time to see where they are, to work with them where they are or whatnot, and see, or can you take another look, another perspective at it that can change things around for you. But hey, it's your man Darren M. Palmer for another episode of Market Leader Live. Remember what market leaders do. They are able to separate themselves from others to make more impact, and allows for them to make more income. Until next time, remember, if you want change, be the change. Be blessed and be great.